Hey, I thought I better give you guys a quick update on progress on the house and kind of let you know how everything's going. Um, Here we are so far. Basically, I've gotten the roof decked and membrane up on the roof, get it dried in, and I've got this front face done right through here. First layer of OSB. Thought I'd kind of walk down through here a little bit. Um, Basically, the sheathing, we're going to have to do 2 coats of OSB. This is just our first first layer, basically, of OSB. Reason we're having to do 2, I need an inch thickness on this, since we're doing vertical board and batten siding with smartboard siding. With just a 1/2 inch, if we were doing horizontal lap siding, we would be okay going right into the studs. But with the vertical, I need the extra inch thickness on there to be able to catch the nails, to have enough of the nail to hold in there, because there's going to be places where on the vertical board and batten where it laps, where I'm going to be in between a stud, and this 1/2 inch OSB splinter board marvel wonder of nature that they've created just does not hold nails like I like it to. And so it's not my preferred choice of product to use, but when you're building on a budget, and it's about the cheapest thing that we can go with that's affordable, basically. So again, I'm old school carpenter. I don't like this stuff, but it's kind of one of those things that you get in the situation where this is still $15 a sheet. It was one of the issues that we ran into. Whereas, if I wanted to go with like 3/4 inch, CDX plywood or something like that, I mean, I'd be looking at closer to $50, $60 a sheet, maybe more, just depending on what you get. So even with 2 layers of this, we're still cheaper. And what I'm going to do, probably for since we're doing 2 layers of sheathing, the top layer, my debate was, well, do I do another layer of just standard OSB, or do I go bump it up a notch and maybe do like the zip board or the logic board, the coated OSB that's weather tight? And so we've talked about it, and we finally decided that, yeah, let's go ahead, since I'm working on this by myself and I'm constantly out in the weather, and rain has been a huge issue this year, trying to keep this thing dry. I've had more water problems with this than you can believe, just with the rain. So probably going to go with logic board or zip board. Put it directly on top of this, get the tape seams, seal it up, get it good and weather tight, seal it against the slab down there, caulk it all in to where everything is good and tight and sheds water. And then we'll come back in with the probably go with 3/8 thick smartboard siding. That's it's basically the 12-inch profile, which is really like 11 and a half, 11 and a quarter inches, and then do batten inch and a half. 1x2s, basically, batten strips on top of that. So I think it'll give it a good old-fashioned look, and the missus, she likes it. We've seen some houses around our area that have that type of siding, and it looks really good. It's classic farmhouse look, So I think that's what we've decided to do. So this is the last time you'll see this profile with all the windows and everything open. I wanted to go ahead and cut out windows and get everything set for this. And then when we put the logic board or zip board on top of this, basically I'm going to cover up the windows. I'm going to tape seam everything where all the joints are. So it's going to be a solid wall. And then we'll leave the front door open so we have access. Same thing on the back. We'll leave the back door open. Everything else is going to get boxed in. So the house is going to be really, really dark. But it's the only way I can do it where everything will shed water off of it, and it'll keep me dry on the inside until I can go back window by window, do my window flashing detail and dry all this in really good, and then come back in here and nail in my windows and then tape seam them and get them all sealed up good so they shed water. But with talking with friends that are in construction now and are currently using some of the modern stuff like the logic board and the zip board, they love it. And I have a few test pieces that a friend of mine, neighbor, gave to me, and I've had it out in the weather flat on the ground and in different places with rain on it for a year, and it's unchanged. So I'm really impressed with it. Compared to this stuff, you leave it out in the weather you get a couple inches of rain on it and it swells. It goes from 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch really quickly, and then it turns into a sponge. So it's kind of crazy how that stuff works. But this is where we're at. I've got one face and one side done. Really happy with it. So far so good. My walls are pretty straight. I've had a few twisted studs here and there, but overall it's gone up pretty good. Now, one thing I'm going to do, this, since I bought it all, I had all the 8-foot 4x8 sheets. That's why I have the lap up there, because this is exactly 9 feet on this outside profile. So I'll come back with, fortunately, the Logic board. I know for sure one of my local suppliers, they sell 4-foot by 9-foot sheets. So when I come back in, I'll stagger my joints 16 inches so I don't have joints lapping on top of the original joints. And it'll actually go much quicker, because this took me a lot of time, because I had to do poor man Z mold up here with some membrane I had left over, and just so it would shed water, basically. But this will be good because it'll go right on top of it, and it gives me that inch thickness I need for it to actually hold the nail. So I feel pretty good about that. So I think it's going to work out pretty good. It's the plan we have so far, and I'll get out of the way here so you guys can kind of see everything, how it's looking. But living room windows, in case anybody's wondering what this is the drive up order window, where you can probably ride up on your horse or something. I'm just kidding. No, we're going low tech and budget, because it's all we can afford right now with this. So we're going to do a big, hate to have it right here on the front next to the front door, so I'll have to do some type of detail to hide it, but it's going to be a big boxed in window unit, one of the big 24K BTUs, because we're going to need that to cool this thing with this high ceiling and everything in here. So and they'll do 1,500 square feet, and the house is exactly just a touch over 1,500 square feet. So I think it'll do pretty good, except on really hot days. We may have to supplement with some ACs in the bedroom, some other window units or something. But overall, I think we're probably in pretty good shape with a big unit like that. The problem I ran into was we have so many windows in the core of this space in here. There's no wall space. This was the only section of wall space I had to get one of those big ACs. I wanted to do a mini split, but they're out of our budget. When you can get a window unit for $600, mini splits are double, triple that. So it's easy and it's budget. So that's kind of what we're going to go until in the future, maybe when we can do a mini split or do a full HVAC system in the house. So, but I'll walk on down here. So 60 feet of OSB, basically 9 feet tall. Front looks good. I'm happy with it. So, and this eventually will have a full covered porch, is the reason I don't have overhang on this house. So when I go back in to do my fascia board trim detail up there, my fascia board will be a header board at some point, where I can hang my joist hanger brackets and then take off that with my ceiling joist for the porch. And we're planning on an 8-foot porch, probably with posts every 8 feet or so all the way down through here, but give it a good, nice cabin feel to it with that lower pitch porch on there, basically. So that's kind of the plan so far. So just thought I'd give you guys a quick update on how everything's going.